Hello! So glad you could join us. Today is part 2 of Prentice's Formula. Today I'm going to start off with a joke. It's not a very good joke, but I'm going to tell it anyway. A sloth is in the big city. He's there for a convention. And while he's there, he's mugged by 2 turtles. He ends up at the police station, and the detective says, "Can you tell me what happened?" And the sloth says, "No, it happened also, so quickly." But reason I'm telling that joke. When we're at the whiteboard today, I'm going to try to slow things down, particularly in the first of the 3 examples. I'm going to leave stuff up on the whiteboard a little bit longer, break things down a little bit more, just kind of step out of the picture, let you look. What I want you to start doing is start looking for the patterns of these problems. Work them over and over and over again until you begin to see the pattern, the steps that are involved in order to reach that final correct answer. It's only when you start seeing the pattern that you'll catch the mistakes that you might make when you're under pressure at work during a written or a practical exam. Practice, practice, practice. Okay? Let's head on over to the whiteboard and work 3 examples. See you there. Got a -7, -225 at 150, a -850, -175 at 120. You wrote the job order up. You told the lab that the patient PD was 3133. Somewhere between you writing that number down and the glasses actually being made, someone reversed the numbers and the glasses were actually made at 3331. We swapped them around. Somebody wrote left for right. Not all that uncommon, really, so be prepared. This tells me that I have a PD error. Why am I looking for the power at 180? Because it's a PD error. PD errors run along the 180 line. The lens moves along this way within the eye wire. It's an error in 180 degrees, or the 180th meridian. So I need the power at 180. What do I have? I have the power at 150, and I have the power at 120. These fall nicely into my 30, 45, 60 rule. 150 is 30 degrees away from my 180 that I need. My 120 is 60 degrees away from the 180 that I need. Using my 30, 45, 60 rule, I can take my cylinder value, multiply it times my 0.25. I end up at 0.56, which I then add to my sphere power, which leaves me with a -7.56 at 180 degrees. This is one of my D's. I take my cylinder value of 175, I multiply it times 0.75, I end up at -1.31. I add that to my sphere value, and I get -9.81 at 180 degrees, the power in the meridian that I need. There's my other D. My human, their eyes 31, 33. Their right eye, the visual axis, the pupil is 31 millimeters over from the center of their eye. Their left, 33. Glasses were made 33, 31. A difference of 2 millimeters, a difference of 2 millimeters. Prentice's formula is P is equal to HCM times D. To convert my 2 millimeters to centimeters, I would divide this by 10. I have now got P is equal to 0.2 times my D of 7.56, or P is equal to 0.2 times minus 9.81. Let that sink in for a minute. I'll kind of try to get out of the way, talk off to the side here and let you look at that and think about all of it. I'll review it one more time, and then we'll actually go on to solve this. The really important part to this is notice that I can't even fit all this on the board in one fell swoop. On top of that, there are a lot of steps involved, and I really want you to concentrate on working the problem all the way through to the end. I know there are a lot of places that you can get caught up and think that you're already there. Not the case. I have a PD error, so I need the power at 180. I don't have the power at 180. I've got 150 and 120. 150 is 30 degrees away from 180. 120 is 60 degrees away from 180. Because we have the nice lucky number of 30 and 60, I can use my 30, 45, 60 rule, and I can solve for my power at 180 by taking the percent of the cylinder that is present in the prescription, adding it back into my sphere, and giving me the number that I need. This tells us nothing at this point. It is not until we take the next step that we'll actually know what this person is experiencing. We do know the error resulted in 2 millimeters of displacement in the right, 2 millimeters of displacement in the left. 2 divided by 10 to convert from millimeters to centimeters is 0.2. 0.2 times my power at 180, and let's take it from there and actually work this problem all the way through and finish it. I actually just wanted to say, well, now back to the drawing board, and we're back at the drawing board. Anyway, continuing with example number 1, 0.2 came from our 2 millimeters of difference, 31, 33, 33, 31, a difference of 2. 2 millimeters converted to centimeters, 0.2. Our power at 180, our power at 180 because we are talking about an error along the PD. That gives us a total prism error or prism amount, 1.51, 1.96. Rounded, because we carry prism out only to one decimal place, I've got a 1.5 and a 2.0. Still doesn't tell us nothing. I wanted my lens OC to be at 31, but I got 33. I wanted it here, but it ended up here. $33. I wanted it here, but I got it here. Following me? I wanted it directly in front of the pupil. Here's my nose. I drew a center line down my nose. My PD told me that from the center line of this to the center here is 31. From here to here should be 33. This is my human. But what happened, instead of having it here, it got bumped somewhere along the line and it's wider. I got it. My OC was placed further out from where I actually wanted it. It's out this way. So this would be 33, difference of 2. I wanted it here, but I got 31, which is narrower. It moved inwards by a little bit, by 2. So that's where that movement comes from. Now we have to figure out our base direction. We have minus power, lots and lots of it. So I draw a minus lens profile along the 180. Here's my OC. Here's my lens. Here's my OC. What is this person looking through? I don't need to look at this at all. This eye, this person's visual axis, pupil, point of looking through is within this prismatic area of the lens. I have got base in prism. This eye, it was within this prismatic area, this triangle, if you will, and you don't need to look at this at all. What do they experience? They're experiencing base out in that eye. Sorry, there for a second, I ran out of room. Base in, base out prism, according to our handy chart, which I don't have in front of me, cancels or reduces the overall effect when it's combined between the two eyes. What does that tell me? That tells me that I can take my 2.0 and I can subtract my 1.5 for a net effect of 0.5 diopters of prism. Because it cancels, the way we finish the problem, the total answer would be 0.5 diopters of prism in the eye that is strongest in the left. That is the conclusion. That is how you would need to work through. Remember, we started a full whiteboard ago to reach the conclusion because they cancel each other out. 0.5 diopters, prism diopters in the left lens is what this person would be experiencing in their brain. Remember, it's always in the brain, not in the eye. Okay, I'll leave that up there for just a second. You can always rewind and look again. And then we'll jump in to example 2. This man's life hangs in the balance. You're going to determine if he's guilty or if he's innocent. This is the world of forensic opticianry. Definitely a term I just made up. Man had a car accident. He ran his car off the road into a tree. Insurance companies thinks it's a little bit shady. They think he may have been drinking, might have been taking drugs. They're not sure. They don't want to pay him for his nice car. He claims that he was never able to wear contacts because of the odd prescription and relatively high cylinder. He was traveling. He only had one pair of glasses with him, which he sat on. And once he sat on his glasses, they ended up looking like this. One lens was way up here. One lens was way down here. His eyes were on the exact same level because, of course, you can't move your eyes. So you need to figure out how much prism error he was actually experiencing, because he blames it all on the glasses. Let's find out if he's guilty or if he's innocent. The error that is created when I shift these lenses in this way is in the 90th. To solve for the power at 90, when we have 180, as you know, all we have to do is flat transposition. My minus 675 added to my minus 2, minus 875 at 90. Plus 6 added to my minus 175, the plus 425 at 90. There's my D. Got my D. Got my D. How far was the lens pushed up in this eye and down in this eye? 6 millimeters, 6 millimeters. P is equal to HCM times D. P is equal to 6 millimeters converted to centimeters is 0.6 times minus 8.75 times plus 4.25. With me so far? Because we're not there, not even close. Got a lot of work ahead of us. This man's life hangs in the balance. Pay attention. Give me a minute. Let me wipe this clean, draw it out so we can keep going. I'll be back in just a second. All right, I think we are getting pretty close to deciding this gentleman's fate and see whether the insurance company is going to pay up or not. His blood work did come back and he was actually alcohol and drug free. So they're thinking either he's just a really bad driver or perhaps it really was a problem with his glasses. So let's find out. For our right eye, we have 0.6. Remember, we had 6 millimeters of movement, 6 millimeters converted to centimeters. 6 divided by 10 is 0.6. Power in the 90th in our right was a minus 875. In the left was a plus 425. Gives us a total prism amount of 5.25, 2.55. Rounded up, we end up at 5.3 and 2.6. Still tells us absolutely nothing because we still need to draw the lenses. Once we draw the lenses, then we'll know if it compounds or if it cancels. In the right eye, we have minus power, super important. Our lens OC is probably in about the center of the eye wire. The lens OC, as we know, was pushed up in this eye. It's up here. So let's figure our OC is here. And if I draw a minus lens profile, looking through, here is my base down prism. In my left eye, I have a plus 425. This lens has been pushed down. So let's figure my OC is about here now, where it was supposed to be up here. If I draw a plus lens in the 90th profile, here's my lens OC. Whoa, sorry. Yeah, there we go. That's better. Shame on me. Uh-oh, I'm running out of ink here. Let me correct that little faux pas. Let me actually switch to black, sorry. Here's my eye, here's my base. The base is down. Base down, base down. Cancels or subtracts or lessens the overall effect that the person gets in their brain. So we subtract our 2 prism amounts. I can take my 5.3, I can subtract 2.6, I end up with 2.7. This person, when he was driving along and he hit the tree, in his brain was experiencing 2.7 prism diopters base down in the right lens. Where all of this is headed is into tolerance, inspection, final inspection, verification. We're not there yet, but just so you know, you can put it in the back of your head. The only amount allowed right there in this kind of prescription would be a measly little 0.33. Not much, really, just a little over a quarter diopter there, and this guy is suffering from 2.7 full diopters of prism. I would say he has a case to argue that if his glasses were straight, perhaps he would not have run into that tree after all. So I think we'll call him innocent, and that would be our second example and our first entry into forensic opticianry. Let's do one more. We'll do something a little different though. See me in a minute. Ba-dum-bum-bum. Example number 3. We are at a party, having a good time. Over in the corner, got Danica and we've got Jamal. Danica's wicked cute. Jamal's thinking, like to get to know her a little bit better. Heads on over to the corner and they start talking. Jamal can't help but notice that she's got a pretty powerful eyeglass prescription there. Catches his eye. and they're talking about how pretty the frame looks like Danica. And they get to chatting a little bit more, and he says, hey, can I try those on? And Danica says, sure. And Jamal takes Danica's glasses and puts them on. Now you just happen to be there, and being the curious optician that you are, you want to know how much prism was created when Jamal puts on Danica's glasses. We're setting aside the prescription concept here. We're just talking about the prism effect. Because we're talking about a PD difference of 3. Jamal's a big guy. He has a PD of 34, 35. Danica's not so big. She's a 31, 32. His PD is 3 millimeters wider in each eye. So we need the power at 180. We have the power at 135 and 120. We would use our 30, 45, 60 rule to find the power at 180. Not going to do that for you anymore. We're kind of past that point now. In my right, at 180 degrees, I've got 3.13. And in my left, at 100, I've got 1.63. The prismatic error is 3 millimeters, or 0.3 centimeters, times my HCM, times my D of 3.13, gives me an error of 0.93 or 0.9 in my right. 3.3 times 1.63 is 0.48 or 0.5. These two numbers tell me nothing so far. We need to draw this out to decide what it is that Jamal is actually experiencing. Grab my red marker. So I have some marker problems today. If Danica has the glasses on, her OC is right there, and her OC is right there, because the glasses were made just perfect. Jamal puts on the glasses, and he's much, much wider, so he's looking out there, and my OC is about here. He puts them on, my OC's about there. Jamal's big guy, his eye is out here. Both of these lenses, plus power, plus power, plus power, I need to draw my two lenses in the 180 in the plus shape. Jamal's out here. The OC's out here. He's looking through base in prism. Jamal's out here. My lens OC is here. Jamal's looking at base in prism. How much and in what direction? Let's finish this problem. Base in compounds. It makes things worse. It increases the amount of prism conceived by the brain. And I have got, what have I got? I've got 0.9 compounded or added to my 0.5, which gives me a grand total of 1.4 diopters of prism. Because it compounds, we write it out as such. We would say that he would be experiencing 1.4 prism diopters base in right, 1.4 prism diopters base in left. This would be the total answer, the correct answer, the one you would check off in your multiple choice question list to answer that particular scenario. 3 more examples of Prentice's formula. I think we'll probably do 3 more next week, bouncing it up just one more step, doing a little powers in oblique meridians formula. So let me get started on that. 3 more Prentice's formula examples. Then we'll move on to actually applying it when we're looking at verification, because right after this, I'm going to start on Learn the Lens Meter, which of course will build into how you do a final inspection verification process. So I will see you next week. Thanks for stopping by.